the deck of the aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, F-18 Super Hornets are on the move, launching and landing.
And their target, as we said, is the free wire. So that's what they're always shooting for.
How about that first time? The first time that you had to actually drop that tail hook and try it.
I still remember that one, and I made it, and it's a jolt.
Michael Farley, call sign Slayer, is an F-18 pilot with real-world experience in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, most recently supporting NATO operations in support of Ukraine.
The way I described my first time taking a trap on the aircraft carrier was I knew what just happened, but I had no idea what just happened. There's some violence associated with that. You're stopping in about 700 feet from 140 knots, about 160 miles an hour to zero.
It was time for my flight to the aircraft carrier.
We're going to raise our hands in the air and say, here we go.
First, the trap. Then, my first view of the most perfectly orchestrated chaos in the Navy.
Very dangerous, yes. We always say we have to keep our heads on a swivel because it can go very wrong very quickly.
Nathan King from Indiana is a shooter. Those sailors in yellow shirts and green helmets giving the final signal to launch the aircraft.
Hand signals are everything here. I do have the radio, and I have earbuds in so I can hear, but almost everything can be done to get hand signals.
Each colored uniform, a specific job. It's a dance, and it's said to be the most dangerous operation in the Navy. And Indiana's Bryson Torbeck, a crash and salvage crewman, is on standby in the event something goes wrong.
Having us on flight deck with a response within 20 seconds, that's what we shoot for every time to prevent further damage.
I caught up with him just after sunrise in the calm before the chaos.
So how critical would you say your role is to always kind of be here on standby?
Oh, very, very critical, yeah. You can't operate without crash and salvage.
Anytime an aircraft is in the air, whether training or real world, one of these is in the air in the event they have to rescue a pilot.
High above the flight deck, Ohioan Desiree Mungia is one of the ship's quartermasters.
You're on a full mission. I mean, how critical is the quartermaster?
I would say that the quartermaster is very critical because we are the only ones that are actually looking at VMS. So we can see other ships that are coming through. We can see any unexploded ordinances.
Aside from sailors on the bridge, like Desiree using her eyes to see what's ahead.
Last night, I was installing and aligning that power supply right there.
Troy, Ohio's Isaac Lovett helps keep the radar's eyes working.
This is your wheelhouse. This is what you're responsible for.
This is my radar.
This is your radar.
It's my radar.
His high school love of television production led him down a path toward electronics.
I'm 23 years old and I'm responsible for multiple millions of dollars worth of radars and equipment, and very, very important people need to know what I'm doing to make sure these radars are up.
It's kind of mind-boggling to be that age and that responsibility.
Yeah, I think about it a lot, and it gets scary sometimes, especially when you don't have answers.
Under night operations, making your way through the ship, one can't help but to feel like a hamster running through a maze of tunnels. Upstairs and downstairs, some 5,000 plus sailors scuttling in every direction, each with their own job to do.
As soon as they're done finishing up with a meal, they dump a bunch of mop water on the floor and they squeegee the floors, they mop them, they wipe everything down.
Just like a regular restaurant.
Yep, just like a regular restaurant.
The 6 galleys on board serve upwards of 14,000 meals a day. Cole Rain's Austin Swaggart joined the Navy right out of high school and essentially works within the civilian equivalent of a health department, responsible for everything from food safety inspections to immunizations.
Taking care of patients, making sure everybody stays safe and healthy, and that's nothing real special. In my eyes, I don't do anything special.